Over the last 5 years or so, the frequency of biopics or films based on real life incidents has increased considerably. While many may feel that this is because of a shift of Hindi cinema, especially the evolving audience demanding for a more realistic approach to filmmaking and storytelling, the success of biopics over the years has only led to an increase in the number of projects. In 2016, Bollywood produced 9 biopics, only for 2019 to come along and producers to back 15 such projects. This genre of film often leading to polarizing opinions. While some factions of the audience feel that it is easier storytelling, the material in all forms from books, audiovisual references are available regarding the individual and leaves less for the imagination, and furthermore, many believe biopics represent simply a money-making exercise. Many creators feel otherwise. Tigmanshu Dhulia, the director of Pan Singh Tomar, stated that you are artistically challenged because you have to be true to the character and the period to which he belongs and cannot lean on fiction and fantasy. Box office wise also, you already have a captive audience which wants to know about the life chosen for filming. Even actors like Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who has portrayed characters like Manji, the Mountain Man and Manto, with little to no reference for acting cues, stated that it is not a formulaic path to success. I think Hansal Mehta provides the most balanced statement, foreshadowing what has become today's reality as well. He stated that as a viewer, I have always loved biopics, as very often they deal with events and or characters that are far more relatable. The danger of success in our industry is the formalization of genres, and I hope this does not happen to biopics. I think it would be ignorant of us to deny that the genre has become formulaic and saturated in many ways. This still does not take away from the fact that such storytelling brings in the forefront heroes the masses were not privy to. The upcoming biopics from Bollywood ranges from historical epics to telling stories of heroes that are still alive and relevant to the masses. Here's taking a look at some of the upcoming stories that have me extremely interested and how they will translate into feature films. Maidan. One of the stories that I am most interested to see is the Ajay Devgan starrer Maidan, which will be directed by Badhai or director Amit Sharma. I've been a football fan all my life, and while in the global charts, India in my limited lifespan has never been in the reckoning, and all I have experienced is being disappointed as an Arsenal fan for the last 15 years in European football, I was fascinated to research and know that there was once a golden age of football in India from 1951 to 62. Based on the life of Indian football coach Saeed Abdul Rahim, the film will be produced by Boni Kapoor and Zee Studios. The film will be focusing on the triumphs of the Indian football team under the guidance of Saeed Abdul Rahim, winning a gold at the 1962 Asian Games in Jakarta and reaching the semi-finals of the 1956 Melbourne Olympics when Saeed was the coach.
First of all, I berated myself that how did I not know this story? And then when I got to research the film, I was like, I'm glad that the producers called me to write this film. Because if someone else would have written it, I would have been jealous of that guy.
While football in Bollywood has been restricted to Dandanadan goal, this story will surely draw in the masses. 83. A film that has been in the news for far too long, I genuinely have a fear whose novelty will wear off even before it comes to theatres, is the Kabir Khan directed film 83, based on the historic Indian cricket team World Cup win in 1983. The entire team has been set. Ranveer Singh playing Kapil Dev, Tahir Raj Bhasin playing Sunil Gavaskar, Saqib Salim as Mohinder Amarnath, Jeeva playing Shrikant, and it has just been waiting to get released in theatres. The producers acknowledge the scale in which the story can do business, and therefore the creators have been refraining from an OTT release.
Really struck me is how, in a certain sense, the whole perspective of the country changed with 83. Our perspective looking out and the rest of the world looking at us.
Right.
And I experienced that while talking to the diaspora. In England, for example, a lot of people came and told me, 25th of June 1983, everything changed for us.
A country where cricket is worshipped, you know very well this film is meant for theatres. However, I really hope that the waiting game for some form of normalcy does not become a double-edged sword for the creators. Shaquilla. Possibly the riskiest project in the biopic genre is the film titled Shaquilla starring Richa Chadda. The film is based on the infamous adult actress that featured in more than 100 films ranging from Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada as well as the Hindi language. Popular especially in the 90s, the actor had become so famous that the exhibitors and distributors of single-screen theatres would actually demand for a Shaquilla film to release so that they can get their theatres packed. The film will chronicle the tumultuous life of the individual who at one point of time was one of the highest paid actors in South India. From her troubled childhood, the invasive ways of the industry, and her uncontrollable meteoric popularity, this one will definitely be interesting to see, especially how it translates into a feature film.
We are talking about all this feminism and all in cinema, in the film industry today, but for her to stand up against authority in the 90s and early 2000s when there was no social media, and even now the women who spoke against Me Too in the Kerala film industry, they are kind of, there was an article about them being ostracized. So we can imagine how much bravery and guts it took for her to speak up at that point of time.
Shesha. A film that I'm most excited for is the Vikram Batra biopic starring Siddharth Malhotra. The pride of our country and nothing less than a national hero, Vikram Batra fought valiantly for the country. His slogan, Dil Mange More, was indicative of the might, bravery and will of our soldiers. The young captain who fought till the very end in the process of capturing point of 4875 in the Kargil war and was known as Shesha. The enemy is even being knowledgeable of the soldiers' fearless ways. The journey of Vikram Batra is truly inspirational, a hero in every way, and I hope the team of Siddharth Malhotra in the lead, backed by the production team of Dharma and director Vishnu Vardhan, do full justice to the contribution of the late Paramveer Chakra recipient.
Soldiers or officer, whosoever it was, he said me, my code name was Shesha. Oh Shesha, you have come. Don't try to come up, otherwise you'll have a tough time. And that was the time they gave us a challenge, and my guys, they went wild. How dare a Pakistani troop can challenge us?
Gangubai. A film that I believe is still a mystery on how it will translate on the big screen is Sanjay Leela Bansali's next Gangubai, starring Alia Bhatt. The film on paper is a fascinating story about an individual with a tumultuous origin story. I'm only cautious as whenever Bansali as a creator strays away from historical epics, it can always be a hit or a miss. As is written in Hussain Zaidi's book Mafia Queens of Mumbai, Gangubai was pushed into prostitution at a very young age, and being part of the troubling system at a time when Mumbai was more or less the playground of the underworld, the most notorious criminals had also become her customers. Having run away from home at the age of 16 with the dreams of living a happy married life, she was sold by her husband for 500 rupees to a brothel.
I don't think I expect anything less in terms of a transformation when I'm working with Sanjay Leela Bansali, because he is known to, make you look just the way you've never looked before. So he transforms you as a character. And that's what I feel like. I've become Gangubai. It's very difficult for me to go out of it right now.
The journey of survival in the organized chaos and crime around her will be an interesting world, especially with the vision of Sanjay Leela Bansali. Udham Singh. A massive Shujit Sarkar project which is scheduled to release in 2021 is the film titled Sardar Udham Singh, a biopic based on the revolutionary Udham Singh. Michael O'Dyer was appointed as the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab from 1912 to 1919, and it was only under his tenure that the gruesome and barbaric Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. Udham Singh was deeply affected by this horrible act, as it is presumed that the man was serving water to the unarmed civilians that had gathered there in protest of the assassinations of the multiple freedom fighters. Udham Singh was inspired by Bhagat Singh and did what he could to rile up Indians overseas against the oppressive British rule. Udham Singh provided ammunition back in India to combat the imperial forces, getting sent to jail for possession of illegal arms, and finally somehow, despite being under strict vigilance, escaped the country with only one mission: assassinating the man responsible for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Michael O'Dyer.
It was always my dream to work with Shujit Sarkar, and I finally got an opportunity to work with him, and I'm glad that it's a film on Shaheed Udham Singh, which is a great honor for me also, but a big responsibility also at the same time.
A move which was considered to be an act of insanity by Mahatma Gandhi but celebrated by the masses. The duo of Shujit Sarkar and Vicky Kaushal will hopefully impress. Thalaivi. One of the biggest and ambitious upcoming projects in India has to be the Kangana starrer Thalaivi, directed by A.L. Vijay. The film is going to be focused on the life of late actor and politician Jayalalitha, who served 6 terms as Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. While the MX Player series Queen, directed by Gautam Menon, showcased a brilliant storytelling arc of the influential figure, the star power and capability of Kangnaranath has really generated buzz around the film and how it will transpire on the big screen. The first look definitely led to polarizing opinions, specifically pertaining to the excessive makeup. But beyond the exterior, it seems that the film will follow all the big hurdles of the star. From her foray into films, her relationship with MGR, the setbacks before the onset of her political career, and so on. This one can be the biggest film of Kangnaranath's career.
This is more about her coming and becoming a superstar, and then her relationship with Mr. MGR, Karunanidhi, and the socio-political environment of Tamil Nadu in those days, and Tamil politics and Tamil film industry, of course, is going to be an important part of it.
Prithviraj. The next Akshay Kumar starrer, based on the Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan, produced by YRF and directed by Chandraprakash Dwivedi, has to be one of the biggest and ambitious projects that will come soon, especially for Akshay Kumar's career. Chandraprakash Dwivedi was responsible for the popularity of the TV series Chanakya, and for him to foray into a historical epic definitely seems like his wheelhouse.
मुझे जो हमारे देश में इतनी कमाल की इतनी कहानियां, बाहर जाने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, हॉलीवुड से कोई राइट्स लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं, यहाँ ही पड़ी हैं सारी चीज़ें, यहाँ ही पड़ी हैं. आज मुझे मौका मिला, पृथ्वीराज चौहान जी पे पिक्चर बनाने का मौका मिला, मैं कर रहा हूँ.
Akshay Kumar, who has done many biopics, will finally foray into a historical epic after the success of Kesari, and this will definitely be a rager in the box office. Shabash Mithu. One of the most inspirational figures for women in sport is Mithali Raj, the current ODI Indian cricket captain, who has been in the leadership position since 2005 and is the highest run scorer in international women's cricket. A recipient of the Padma Shri and one of the front runners in changing the perception of women's cricket, not only in the country but globally, the story of Mithali Raj deserves to be showcased on the big screen. The film titled Shabash Mithu will be directed by Rahul Dholakia and will star Taapsee Pannu essaying the role of Mithali Raj. This one has all the ingredients of an exciting venture. Saina. A film that has been in the works for quite some time but has undergone several changes is the biopic based on the life of Saina Nehwal. While the original choice for the film was Shraddha Kapoor, which I believed worked perfectly, Shraddha Kapoor was replaced by Parineeti Chopra and was finalized. Saina Nehwal has had one of the most successful professional careers and has also been a sportsperson that has carried herself with a sense of grace throughout the years. I really hope that this Amol Gupte directed film works and Parineeti Chopra has a successful second innings as a leading lady. Sam. Another Vicky Kaushal project is the upcoming biopic on Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw titled Sam, directed by Meghna Gulzar. One of the most celebrated individuals of the Indian Army, Sam Manekshaw, also known as Sam Bahadur, had a military career comprising of several wars over 4 decades. From serving in the British Army in World War II, being on the brink of death after being shot close to 9 times by the Japanese army, unfairly getting charged with sedition and being labelled as unpatriotic, but justifiably getting exonerated on all charges with the Court of Inquiry, leading the country as the army chief in the India-Pakistan War of 1971, and making the enemies go down on their knees in defeat in close to 13 days. The man will always be celebrated and a proud aspect of our Indian history. Knowing Meghna Gulzar is taking the director's chair and that a capable actor like Vicky Kaushal is going to play the role, I'm 100% sure the quality of the film is going to be exceptional. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below which is one biopic that you are looking most forward to, and tell me this. Do you feel there is a saturation of this genre, or do you feel like it is necessary to talk about some unsung heroes and inspirational figures from our history? Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.